We came out with a unique strategy to avoid hefty costs of owning a car in Singapore. But along the way, we learned some hard lessons and that completely changed how we are looking at car ownership. So in today's video, I'll be sharing with you guys the true cost of owning a car in Singapore, what was that unique strategy that we used, what went wrong, and how we are revising our strategy moving forward. So if you're planning to own a car, then this video is for you. And be sure to stick till the end of the video to know what is our revised strategy moving forward. Before we dive in, if you guys are new here, welcome to my channel. I am currently on a mission to achieve financial freedom and I share anything related to that to grow my wealth. So hit the subscribe button and join me if you guys are interested, and let's grow our wealth together. So firstly, let's take a look at how much it costs to own a new car in Singapore. If you're Singaporean, you probably wouldn't be surprised knowing that the COE is really super high, but if you're not a Singaporean, then let me share with you guys the jaw-dropping cost of owning a car in Singapore. So if you want to buy a new car, let's say Honda Fit, it costs about $130,000 and you have to pay 30% down payment, which is about $39,000. The remaining 70% you can take a loan, and currently an average interest rate is about 2.5%. So that will bring you to have a monthly installment of about 1.3k for 7 years. So if you add all these costs of the down payment and the monthly installment, if you're looking at the average over the 10 years, you're looking at paying about $1,200 every month to own a car in Singapore. But this is just the cost of the car. We need to add on the monthly operational cost to even drive the car, which is your petrol, season pass, parking charges, insurance premium, and road tax. On average, this is what we are paying every month. So we're looking at about $600. So to know the true cost of owning a car in Singapore, you're going to add everything up. It comes up to $1,900. So the thought of just spending $1,900 to own a car was really overwhelming, and that's how we came up with a unique strategy. So we came up with this strategy called the car rolling strategy. Basically, our plan was to buy a car that has about 1.5 to 2 years of COE left, so the initial cash outlay will be lesser than paying a down payment for a new car. And then before the COE expires for that car, we would trade in that car and top up a bit more cash to buy the next car. So for example, 2 years ago, we paid $19,000 to own a car that had about 21 months of COE left. Of course, the cash outlay was tough to pay $19,000. But if you look at it in comparison to owning a new car, it's actually not as bad. And on top of that, we do not have any monthly installment. Basically, we are not even taking up any loan to own this car for 21 months. So that made us feel that this is actually a better strategy. And if you break down this cost over the 21 months, we're actually looking at about $904 per month to own the car. And if we add the monthly operational cost to these $904, that brings up the total to own this used car for 1.5k. lesser than owning a brand new car. So overall, it felt good because your initial cash outlay is lesser, there's no loan, so there's no monthly installment. Basically, you're only paying for using the car. So if you drive more, you pay more petrol. If you don't need to drive on certain days, then you just have a lesser monthly operational cost for that month. And overall, we felt good and that this strategy is working. But then things went south. So 9 months in, we realized that we have to start looking for the next car because we're only left with about 1 year before the COE expires. The problem with our first car is that it's a renewed COE car. So at the end of this COE, when it expires, there's no way we can extend the COE and we have to scrap the car. So we had to trade in before the COE expires, and you're taking a risk when you're getting a used car because after taking the car back home, if you're going to face any issues to repair, then that is going to count onto the extra costs involved in owning a car, and repair costs are really not cheap at all. So we really needed to spend a lot of time doing research and to also ensure that the car price is not too high and on average is still cheaper to own this second-hand car rather than getting a new car. So we found a car, a PAF car, for 23.5k, but when we wanted to trade in our existing car, the value was only for $8,000. So initially we were supposed to use our first car for 21 months, and that gave an average cost of about $904 per month. But because we traded in 9 months later at a very low rate of $8,000, that increased the monthly cost of owning the car from $900 to 1.4K. And once you add in the monthly operational cost of $600, it brought this entire cost up to $2,000, way more expensive than owning a brand new car. And on top of that, for the first car, there were some issues with it and we had to pay some repair costs. So if you're going to add that in as well, then it's way over $2,000 to own the car for the first 9 months. Once we traded in that, we got our second car, and even for that car, there was some minor issues that we had to pay for, but it's still not so bad overall as compared to what my friends had gone through owning a second-hand car. So that's when we realized that owning a used car might seem affordable at the start because of the lower cash outlay and you don't need to take loan to pay the monthly expenses. But if you actually zoom out a bit and look at it from a bigger point of view, we are actually paying a lot more than what we expected. And a lot of things are actually quite unpredictable. For example, the repairs that are going to be involved. During a test drive, during a mechanic checkup, it might seem that everything is okay, but you really wouldn't know until you really drive the car. And secondly, when you want to trade in the car, it's going to be very difficult to find a good dealer who can give you a very high rate. And I know that at this point of time, you might even be wondering that why are you even buying a car in Singapore? Why not just take public transport? Honestly, we were taking public transport at the start until I got pregnant, and it was towards the end of my second trimester where I really felt difficulty getting on public transport. Honestly, during peak hours, I had to miss a lot of trains because it was so packed and there's no way I could get in with my belly. There were days where I had to find alternate transportation or I have to take bus, and physically it was really very tiring. So my husband and I discussed and we felt that if you're going to prioritize convenience, then this is the price that we need to pay. So after having a very good discussion, we decided that we're going to pay the price for our convenience, at least for the first few years. So maybe when my son has grown up, we might just not own a car at all in Singapore and go back to public transport. So moving forward, we have revised our strategy. Our plan now is to renew the COE of our current PAF car instead of trading in and losing the value of the car. So by doing this, we are actually looking at roughly about $750 per month to own the car for the next 5 years. And if we're going to include the monthly operational cost, then we're looking at about $1,003. So it's still going to be lesser than owning a brand new car at $1,009. So this is our current plan as of now. So if you're thinking of getting a car, I would really recommend looking at the long term and to really evaluate to see what is the true cost that you're paying rather than how much you're paying upfront and how much you're paying in the initial few years. If you found this video helpful and if you have stayed till now, then please give a thumbs up and like the video. And if you guys have any questions regarding what we have done, then feel free to ask in the comment section and I'm more than happy to help you guys out. Thank you for watching and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.